Cynthia Thompson. Do I have a treat for you tonight? I have some friends with me, and we're just going to have a little conversation about something that we all wonder if it's really real: ghosts and UFOs and aliens. But before we get started talking about that, let's go around the table and you all introduce yourselves to my viewers. Let's start with you.
Hey, I'm Kendrick Brevard, and I'm not really your average 26-year-old. I'm in a lot of things. I like video games, reading, Taekwondo, martial arts kind of thing. So I'm pretty outgoing, and I like to, stay up to date with what's going on.
And you, sir?
My name is Brandon. I'm a 32-year-old Charlottean, and on the side, I like to help out with Boy Scouts of America. I'm a rappelling and rock climbing instructor.
And our only young lady at the table, along with me, of course.
Yeah. My name is Kina. I'm a student at A&T. I'm actually a junior pre-law major, and that's basically my whole life.
So, ghosts. Who out here believes in ghosts?
Me.
I kind of. Do I say a half a finger? Kind of do.
Yeah,
So, have you had any encounters with ghosts? Any of you?
Well, I would say before I started my first job, I started at high school. I started working at City of Lancaster Public Works. Before then, I was skeptical. I was like, man, you guys are crazy. But then when I was working there, I actually saw my first ghost, and after that, I was a believer.
What happened? Did the ghost just come out and say boo?
Well, I was working there, and I was on call. I used to repair water meters and things like that. So I got a call about 11 o'clock at night, and I went in there. We used to work in the old Springs Mill building, and a lot of people have died in there and things like that. So there people said, man, I see ghosts everywhere. I was like, you guys are crazy. But I went in there one night. I had to go in the building about 11 o'clock. It was dark. We had to swipe our card and go into the building and turn the lights on and hurry up and disarm the alarm. So I walked up the door, and I scanned my little badge there, unlocked the door, and I know it was dark. And then there's like a flight of stairs. So I heard someone walking. I was like, man, there can't be nobody in here. And then so I was like, I don't know what that is. So I took one step in, and then all of a sudden I heard like a lot of footsteps, like no, like a lot of footsteps, like someone's running down the stairs, like fast. So whatever it was, it ran down the flights of stairs. It ran about 3 flights of stairs in about a second. 3 flights of full stairs in a second. So it just zoomed past me. And then I just stood there, and it was like a cold breeze. I don't know if it was from that thing running so fast, or it was just me being scared. But it was a cold breeze. And the thing is, the lights are still off, and the alarm is ding, 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 tell me, and I just stood there. And I just turned around and ran.
Yeah, I would have left.
You would have left?
And guess what? Guess what I did? Well, I never ran so fast before. I got in the truck, and it felt like someone was watching me. And I just cranked it up, and I just left. And I called my other coworkers, and I you know what? I apologized to them. I said, you know what? I'm sorry, because you're right. And I still had to go to the customer's house, but I was like, I don't want to get paid for this. I just went and fixed it, and I went home. And on the way home, I apologized to everybody I called crazy.
So what did it look like?
Well, all I saw was a black figure. I was assuming it was kind of like a silhouette type thing. I don't know if it was human or not, but I didn't want to find out. But it ran down those flights of stairs, and it kind of stopped. I think it ran into a corner, and then it just stopped. And I didn't want to say nothing, and I didn't want to approach it because, this is obviously something that isn't like me or any type of human, because no one can Usain Bolt down 3 flights of stairs in a second, and then, so I'm a believer now.
You're a believer now. Anybody else have had any encounters? I know I haven't.
I've had a story that I took my family about 4 years ago to Charleston, South Carolina. And we, on a Saturday evening, went on a ghost tour to the old Charleston City Jail. And they take you in here, and this jail, I think, was used in the 1800s. So they took people in there, showed you stories where in this position or in this certain location of the prison, such and such happened. Well, after telling about this story and that story, they took us into a small little room and said this was the cell of a lady that they called the Lady in White. She was in the prison, and she was, I forget the exact story, but anyway, she ended up hanging herself in the prison and right by a window. So they say that if you look from outside the prison looking into that cell, that you'll be able to see the Lady in White if you take a picture. So I've took many of photographs, and I have seen orbs, and I've seen silhouettes that are white silhouettes, not dark silhouettes. So I mean,
I had a black one.
yeah, that's the closest to me ever seeing anything. I can't say anything zoomed past me. I felt the hair on the back of my neck stand up numerous times, but
Really?
nothing other than just orbs that you know it's not dust, you know it's not bugs. I mean, there's no other reasonable explanation other than,
You know, yeah.
Wow. So,
Yeah.
Keena, have you experienced anything?
No, I would still be recovering if any of that happened to me. No.
You know, I haven't either, so I wonder if it's just a man thing since you all have experienced it. Do you think that's the case?
I don't know. It could be different reasons. I just think that most of where these ghost sightings are, of course, you're not going to see a ghost on the side of the street or something nowhere. It seems like they're in places to where a lot of activity happened, a lot of human activity happened, and some could have, a lot of ghosts have been sighted, seen like in asylums or prisons, or where a lot of people were viciously or brutally murdered, or things like that. And I guess in some cases, some people just kind of just passed on over, maybe in their sleep or something, or they were drunk or just passed on over, and some people don't even know that they're dead.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds. Stop the texts. Stop the wrecks. Visit us at stoptextstoprex.org.
Some ghosts are here because they don't even know that they're dead. Do you think that's why they're here?
I would concur with that. I would say that that would have a lot to do with people passing on and not knowing that they're gone, maybe. So still just carrying on with everyday life as they have for many, many years. If it were especially an elderly person who got up and, tended to the garden after eating the same bowl of Frosted Flakes every morning for 75 years, that kind of thing. I mean, especially if they died, just in their sleep or something. Maybe they just got up the next day in bed.
Got up dead.
Yeah, woke up dead.
So, let's take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk some more about these ghosts,
Absolutely.
okay? Back to Betty, I'm your host, Cynthia Thompson. When we went on break, we were talking about some encounters that we've had with ghosts. So tell me, do you think that all ghosts are good or bad or whatever?
Well, I think that some ghosts, I've seen some TV shows and things like that. I don't believe all of it, but I think that some things that would really make sense is that some ghosts may have a message. They may want that. They might feel as though they have not. They have not seen justice. They have not. The proper person may have murdered them or something, or they maybe would really, really loved someone and they want to tell them something, and they just kind of couldn't let go unless they got this off their chest. So I think some ghosts they want to tell that person what they wanted. Which they could have been dead now, or that person could still be alive. They still have a mission left. They still want to do something. So I think that some of them have different reasons. Maybe let's say they still have a mission to fulfill, or they still may be angry. They want justice somehow, or they want maybe they just don't want to leave where they're at. Because that old lady story that Brandon told, before the break, how they just don't know, and this is all I know, this is all I've ever done for 75 years, and it's just kind of hard to let go sometimes. So I think it could be a mixture of those three.
What do you guys think?
I don't really like ghosts. I don't really believe in them, but I have seen dead people in my dreams. Like a boy that I knew, he was 12, and the morning that I found out he died, I had a dream that he was talking to me, but he was smiling. In my dream, he looked so alive and happy, and that was his real personality. And his parents said he died playing basketball. He just collapsed. So he actually died having a good time. So I think that's what I saw. I don't know. But he wasn't in my room or anything. It was just in my mind. So I was okay with that. I thought it was just a dream.
Well, I think that would be considered an encounter with a ghost, too.
Oh,
Someone
then I've
speaking
had like
to you.
4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah, when my grandpa passed away, I saw him in my dreams 3 times.
Huh.
3 different conversations. The first time it was wrong. Like the first time he was in like a nursing home and his wife had passed away. The second time it was myself and almost all of my family in a room and he was there. So it's kind of like being able to see him again. And then the third time we were sitting in rocking chairs talking and I was stressed out about school and he told me like, stop worrying about it. He was like, I promise you're just going to study and you're going to be fine. I'm like,
Aww.
okay. Yeah, it was so sweet. And then after that, I wasn't scared anymore, but I don't want to see what you guys saw. So.
Yeah.
So, Brandon, do you think the same thing?
I would have to agree that I think there could be violent aberrations, ghosts. I definitely think there could be peaceful ones. It just depends on what their motives were on life and to see how they became deceased. If they had a violent death, then perhaps they're trying to get someone to rescue them or figure out the story that led them to become deceased. I mean, I think there's a lot of different what ifs, but I think the cool thing about ghosts is we'll never know. It's always going to be a what if.
That's true. Yeah, we'll never know. You know, Hollywood has dressed it up and really made a lot of money off of these horror movies centered around ghosts and goblins and such. How true do you think those stories are, or movies are, I should say?
Well, they always start with this actually happening.
That's how it always starts. Yeah.
What do you really believe?
For sure.
Yeah, kind of like The Exorcism, you know, that classic movie, and they're saying it was, you know, based on a true story, which I do think there's a fine line between ghosts, spirit. Well, demon is just a type of spirit, but I think that there's a difference between a ghost and a spirit. So, in terms of like, you know, like Michael Myers, the famous killer, he's technically a ghost because he's technically evil incarnate. He's just nothing but evil energy. And,
I didn't know that.
Michael Myers is invincible. That's why in one of his one of the Halloween movies, the entire village had shotguns and machine guns, and they all shot him, but nothing. He's invincible. So I think I don't really think it's as exaggerated as that. But I've seen some ghost encounters where, you know, people are like, oh, it feels like someone's choking me, and then they'll have like burnt marks, like fingers on their. I've seen that before, but I don't think they'll like some apparition can materialize themselves and grab your kitchen knife and start stabbing you. I don't think they do that. But I have heard certain stories of stuff flying across the room, but not as exaggerated as it is in Hollywood.
Well, they have to make money off the movie to come,
Yeah.
like the Blair Witch Project.
Absolutely.
Do you believe that's really true?
I think, like Kendrick was saying, I think that there's a fine line between fact and fiction. I think that there are potentially good bits of that story that were legitimate, but I think they definitely increased the blood pumping, adrenaline rushing moments just to make it selling, where it would sell as a blockbuster, and it did. I mean, it was a very high volume, high turnaround movie.
Oh yeah,
lots of income. So I mean, somebody had a thought right in that one.
Yeah. So if you encountered, well, you guys have seen a ghost or encountered one. Would you go into a haunted house or a house that you knew that was haunted with there were ghosts in it? Would you go in?
No.
No, not for me either.
There's a lot of popular YouTube channels that actually, there's guys, some people, there's some really credible sources on there actually. There's a guy that he does, his hobby is exploring abandoned places. He's not a ghost hunter. He's not at all. I don't even know what his standpoint on ghosts are, but he'll go into abandoned mines, abandoned hospitals, and just, you know, he even went to like one of those abandoned circuit cities. You know, there's a ton of them around the United States. He'll just go in there, just explore, and just look how it is. And he actually got a video on YouTube. He went to one of those abandoned mines, and he said that it felt like someone was watching me from the start. And he said that he still went anyway because, you know, I don't know if it fazed him or not, but he still went in there anyway. He said he saw chains. There's a bunch of chains there where they, you know, we used to haul coal and things like that. They used to take the chains and do that. He said there's some chains. Some of them would just swirl around while other ones are standing still. He's in a mine. There's no wind. He's on the ground. So some chains are just swinging, and other chains are standing still. and then he would feel hot, and then he would feel cold, and then his flashlights would give out, and then it would come back on.
Right.
He would hear, sound of people whispering, and one time I think, he was walking and like some wooden post just falling down like it was trying to kill him, and he said he's getting out there. So, but he was like, he does his videos for educational purposes. He's not trying to convince about anything. It's ghost or not. He's just saying, I'm just presenting you my experiences, and But in terms of me doing it, no.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't do that. Maybe if you paid me, $1 million, maybe I would. But
I'd do it if I.
You would go into a haunted house?
If it was a legitimate haunted house, and I had 2 specific items, I'd do it. Those items would have to be, one would be the trap they used to catch the ghosts from Ghostbusters, and a pair of sheets, some sheets, so that way if the ghost trap can't get it, I throw the sheets over my head, then I know the ghost can't get me then. Remember, that's how you used to think as a kid. You throw the sheets over, you can't never get caught by the monster or the ghost. No matter how thin the sheets are, he ain't gonna get you through them sheets.
Especially when you were a little kid, you would turn lights and hurry up and run upstairs. And I'm in my room, so you can't get me now.
Yeah.
So, Keena, would you go?
No.
I don't think I would go either.
Carowinds. No.
Oh, so you don't do the scare wins?
See, you guys didn't see my face. When he was telling his story, I was afraid. So I'm like, you think I'm going to go in there?
Uh-huh.
No. I can't even think
Not
about
knowing.
stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it.
We could go on and on about ghosts, but let's take a short break because I do want to hear about your UFO stories and your alien stories, okay?
Sounds good.
Hi, and welcome back to Better. I'm your host, Cynthia Thompson. I'm here with some guests of mine, some friends, and we're just having a chat about ghosts and aliens and UFOs. Before we went on break, I said we're going to go start talking about the UFOs and the aliens. Now, who here believes in that stuff? You do too?
Say, yeah.
Somebody over there, I don't think believes in it.
I mean, well, I've seen the pictures of the weird things in the sky in California. And I kind of believe in Area 51, but I don't. I have to see something first to believe it. So, yeah.
Okay.
But I've read a lot.
You read a lot.
Or watched documentaries. I won't say read, but yeah.
So I take it you guys do believe in that.
Without a doubt.
I'm full of hope from documentaries and Area 51 potential encounters and stuff such as that. I definitely think there's more than what they want us to believe, but at the same time, I think that maybe they like to ramp it up just to,
of course,
make movies or news. Who knows?
So, Kendrick, I know before I even thought of having this show, you were telling me about your experience with UFOs.
Oh, yeah.
You say they're here.
Where to begin?
Where to begin?
Where to begin? So, there's been, before I even saw my first UFO.
You saw the spaceship?
Yes, I've seen a couple flying discs there in York County. But before I get to that, my uncle, he's taught me a lot. He taught me how to build computers. Very smart guy. He was a deacon at his church, one of the ones here in the Charlotte area, and he told me one day he was telling me about his alien. I forgot his subject, but he was talking. It was around Christmas time. He told me about his alien encounter. He said, "Look," he said he was sleeping in the bed with his wife, and he said that he just felt he was getting sick. He's passed away long ago now. But just before he passed away, he was sick, and he said he was sleeping in the bed with his mother. I mean, not his mother, his wife. And he says that he was sleeping still, and he said that he just saw a light, and he said that he had a tingling sensation, and it felt like he was being moved, but he couldn't awaken himself. He couldn't awake. He was conscious. He just couldn't awake, and he couldn't open his eyes. But he knew what was going on. He said he was warm. It was light shining on him. It was tingling. Eventually, he managed to open up his eyes. He was laying in a room, and he said that he was surrounded by about 6 individuals. 3 of them were smaller. They were on the left side, and there were 3 taller ones. And he said that he will never forget this. He said that he was laying on that table, and they were around him. They were kind of,
touching on him,
touching around on him. And he said there was a light in the room, as bright as it is in here. He was saying there was a light in the room, but there was not a single source of the light. It was just light. It was just there. It was as if light was just in the mist. It's just there. So he said there was light in the room, but there's no sign of a spotlight or a flashlight or nothing. He said it was warm, and he couldn't move. He wasn't shackled. He just couldn't move. So he didn't know if they gave him some type of drug where he couldn't move or nothing. But besides the point, they were touching on him, feeling on him, opening up his mouth, looking in his eyes. And he said they were like they were gray, like the classic. He was like they were gray. They had large eyes. This one, the taller ones, he said they were more in charge of the operation. The smaller ones were kind of the assistants. And he said that after they put a suction, like a vacuum suction thing beside his chest, and he said he started sucking stuff out of him. And after touching on him some more and things like that, just checking his pulse, his heart rate, and all that. And then everyone put up the equipment. They stood back, and then one taller one came up to him, and he spoke to him telepathically. And he said, "You'll live a lot longer now." That's what he told him. He didn't open his mouth. He just said, "You'll live a lot longer now." So then he shut his eyes, and then he felt that tingling sensation again, and then he was back in his bed with his wife. And he woke up his wife, and she said, "You're nuts." And he did live. Yeah. He did live about another 7 years, and then he died of cancer.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah. So like I say, he was ill. He was sick, and I don't think they quite. I don't think he went and got properly checked. But he ended up getting cancer later on down. It could have been possible. He was thinking that they prolonged his cancer death. Right. There was still some stuff for him to do. So he said he felt sick. He was due to go to the hospital at the end of the week because he wanted to finish working. He's a very hardworking, diligent man, strong believer as well. I'm talking about in religion as well. But he told me, and then I never forgot it. I was one of the people who's like, I believe it, and people are like, but. And years later, I saw my first flying saucer. It's actually a disc. If you actually know the York County reactor, but there's an underground nuclear reactor in York County. It powers about all of York County, Rock Hill. It's like a Duke Energy-owned nuclear reactor. And I used to do erosion inspections for a land development company, and that's what I used to do before I started working at the City of Charlotte. And I was walking down a marina. We were building a boat marina. I was inspecting it. And the nuclear reactor is over across Lake Wiley. And I looked over across Lake Wiley. It's a no-flying zone. You can't fly over that nuclear reactor. There was a no-flying zone. There was a flying disc. I saw it, and I looked at it. And I had a picture of it on my old cell phone, but it's broke now and I lost it. But there was a flying disc, and it stood there just hovering. And I was just looking at that thing. I looked at that thing for 15 minutes. It was just sitting there. I don't know how long it was there. I just ended up looking. It was just there. And it was kind of like it was absorbing the nuclear reactor.
And you.
Yeah.
Possibly. Yeah. I don't know. It was just sitting there. And I could see, you can tell it was a metallic object. The sun was bouncing off of it. Mm-hmm. I could see that it had lines in it, kind of like a disc, and it had lines. And I could tell it was kind of spinning because I would see a line go by every now and again. And it was, like I said, it was there. It was hovering. It was reflecting the sun off of it. There was no wings. There was no sound. There was no smoke. There was no sign of there being any type of turbulence. So I would say it was a little bit below the clouds. And it just sat there. And then eventually it just kind of started moving to the west towards Clover. And it just went over the tree line, and I just couldn't see it no more.
Wow.
That was my first flying disc.
Oh,
and other than that,
okay.
I've seen flying orbs that are unexplained. They're not shooting stars. They're not dust particles. They're not airplanes, because you see airplanes that have that blinking red light.
Right.
Don't have that. No sound, no turbulence, no gases, no chemtrail, no jet stream trails. Airplanes shoot through and leave that stream.
Right.
None of that. None of that. And they're just, me and my girl were out there, smooching one night. Mm-hmm. We looked up. I said, "What are those?" And she looked and says, "I've never seen those before." But they're there. And some of them will just act like stars. They'll stand there in the middle of the sky. You look at them long enough, then they'll move.
I've seen that too.
You've seen it too?
Because I was saying, wasn't it just a star right there? And then you look again, it's not there anymore.
And it's not there.
But it won't be a lot of stars out. So
they
it's
play around with you.
Yeah.
So you have seen them too?
Okay, I guess now I've seen a ghost and a UFO.
I've
learned a lot today.
So you're a believer now?
Yeah. Now.
I'm telling you, they will play with you. I mean, it's like playfully. They're playful. Like they'll sit there, like you look at them, then they'll move. Like some of them just move slow, some of them just zoom, And then when you try to find them again, oh, I see you again, and they'll zoom somewhere else.
But they don't know that you see them. I mean, they're way up in the sky.
But it's like they're looking back at you.
But they're smart, so they might see you.
There was a video I saw on like a reliable source, a news network, a couple of, like I think at the beginning of November, and it was unexplained objects over one of the hotels in Uptown Charlotte.
Yep,
Are
I saw
you
that one too.
serious?
And it was for like
It's a
7 to
triangle.
13 minutes, yeah, and they were just, I mean, they were hovering,
It
but they were
above
moving.
It was above the Merlot, right?
Yeah, that's what
Yep,
it was.
it was a triangle. It was just sat there. They said that triangle was about 300 yards, 300 yards per side. It was just a triangle just sitting there.
Oh, that's crazy.
The hotel manager knows about it. Yep, just sitting there.
So what would you do if an alien came down here or a ship came down to Earth?
Depending on if he meant harm or not. I mean, obviously, if there were no harm intended, I would try to be as accommodating as possible within my means. But if he wanted to be like, from Independence Day and wanted to unleash havoc, then I think I might have a different tune in mind. Had to pull out the laser sight.
So why do you all think there are aliens or other forms of life outside of us?
Well, it's nearly impossible to say so otherwise. The universe is so vast. Like with us, we're so small compared
very
on
intelligent.
a universal scale. It's this Earth being the only place of now that we're out there in space more, we've discovered dozens and dozens of Earth-like planets that could have life similar to us. Now, this is the only way life can be sustained. We found bacteria living 100 feet below the Antarctic ice. You don't have to have a perfect distance from the sun, perfect, temperatures, perfect adequate oxygen levels. That's just sustain life for humans.
Right.
But all these other planets, billions and billions, trillions of billions of planets, and it's almost ignorant to say otherwise.
If an alien took you away and did stuff to you, would you tell your friends about it?
No.
You wouldn't tell anybody?
I think that'd be like riding a moped. It's fun to do, just don't tell anybody you did it.
Exactly.
Why do you think they may not believe you?
Well, I think there'd be a lot of skeptics. Plus, I mean, that's just not something that would get you in the most popular category of the, world records.
You're like, oh, we need to check him in.
We might need to put him in cuffs, take him to that cell with the pads, giving himself hugs all day.
So before we close our show today, any lasting words on ghosts, aliens, UFOs, anything?
I would just say, just keep an open mind. Anything's possible. We as humans, we know the more. This is one thing I love about knowledge. The more you learn, the more you realize you don't know. So
this is true.
So I would say, just keep an open mind. Keep looking at the skies. Just be aware of your surroundings, and you never know. You never know what you may experience.
Anyone else?
He took the words right out of my mouth.
Right. Just keep an open mind.
Absolutely.
We are not alone, for real, huh?
Amen.
Well, I want to thank each and every one of you for watching my show at Better You here on Public Access 21 every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Thank you guys.